Hello sports fans, my name is Richard Harris, and today we're going to talk about college football. This has been the most unbelievable, unusual season for college football. None of the teams that we all expected at the beginning of this season is in position to fight for a national championship. We're so used to seeing the Floridas, the Alabamas, the USCs, the Texas, the Oklahomas, the Ohio States, all in position at this time of year to be playing for a title. Well, guess what? Not this season. This season we have 7 unbeaten teams. Auburn, Michigan State, Missouri, Oregon, Boise State, TCU, and Utah. And guess what? All 7 of those teams have an opportunity to play for a national championship because they don't play each other for the rest of the season. Michigan State and Oregon actually don't even have a championship game in their conference, and therefore they can just run the table and not have to have the stress of playing an extra game in order to get themselves in the title game. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because no one has expected this. No one, from any conspiracy theorist, from any person who studies the game as much as I do, could have ever foreseen a season in which so many unexpected teams are in the position to play for a title. And the best part of it all is that nobody can stop it. Because if a championship team does not come from those 7 teams, then college football is going to implode. I mean, think about this. This past April, Duke played Butler for the college basketball championship. And everybody was up in arms, not because of their playing Butler, but the fact that all the schools who have all these kids who come for 1 year or 2 years and go pro weren't playing in a championship game. Butler was. College football has been stubborn to try to include schools from smaller conferences. Well, guess what? This year, they may not have a choice, because Boise State is as good, if not better, than any of the other teams that are undefeated. So is TCU, and the same thing with Utah. And yes, I know, we've seen a non-BCS school play a BCS school in a bowl game and get killed. Georgia destroyed Hawaii. But guess what? Oklahoma and Boise State played a game a few years ago that was for the ages. Maybe one of the best games that anyone's ever seen. And also Utah beat an uninterested Alabama team a couple years ago in the Sugar Bowl. So it's possible that one of these teams coming from nowhere can win a championship. But here's the rub. The funny thing about all this is that a school like Alabama currently right now with 1 loss could somehow, some way snake their way into a title game just because the rest of their season they have a tough game with LSU, a tough game with Auburn, and possibly the SEC championship. And the SEC team seems over the last 5-6 years to get more credibility and credence than other conferences. And so maybe the computer, maybe some other polls might push Alabama ahead of all of them. If that happens, again, implosion will reign. But guess what? I don't think it's going to happen. I think Auburn's going to win out in the SEC. I think Oregon's going to win out in the Pac-10. And I think at the end of the day, Oregon, Auburn, Boise State, and TCU will all be undefeated. And guess what? Next year, we'll be having the same discussion. We'll be saying, why can't Boise State get into a game? Why can't TCU get into the game? And no one's going to have an answer. And the sad thing is, these kids all go to class. These kids all have scholarships. These kids all have career goals and dreams. And they're all being tarnished because some stupid computer won't allow them to fulfill their dreams. Well, if I'm a Boise State kid, I love playing football. I don't care if we play for a title. I don't care if we play for anything. And if I'm a TCU kid, I'm getting a great education at a great university, and I am ready for my challenges. And so, my message to everybody is, yes, they want us all to talk about this at our water coolers, or at our local bars, or with our buddies, or in our homes with our families. It's time for the NCAA to wake up and smell the coffee. Wake up and realize that we live in a different world. Traditions are great, but guess what? Sometimes the traditions are set and the memories are waiting, but they're only waiting for new challenges. And I tell you something, if we acknowledge the players from these schools, from these smaller schools, and stop rewarding all of the big boys all the time, I guarantee you we're going to get a product that everybody is going to love. So on Monday, when you all go to work and you're having your conversation with your buddies and friends, keep those teams in mind because they deserve a chance to play for a title. I'm Richard Harris, and you've been educated. Have a good one.